Hello everyone and welcome to this video. In this video we're going to be performing some information gathering, and more specifically we're going to be looking at how to get some Whois information about your target, and furthermore we'll be looking at how to enumerate subdomains that belong to a target website, and obviously from that that can help you understand the threat that your website or the target website has or poses to itself. Alright, so let's get started. Now, as I said, we're going to be looking at how to gather Whois information. Now, Whois information is very important, and is essentially, basically put, is information that is very crucial to the target and that can be easily found online. And is just general information about the target that you're dealing with. For example, if I use my website, which is what we're going to be using, performing a Whois lookup will give me all information that is related to the website. For example, it'll give me the owner information, it will give me the web host information, it'll give me the location of the servers, whether or not the length of the domain purchase, a lot of information that we can look at. So let's get started with gathering Whois information. Now, it's really very simple, and one of the best websites for this is whois.domaintools.com. I will add this link to the resources and you can check it out for yourself. Now, again, looking at the website, it is very simple. Let me just zoom in there. All you have to do is enter a domain or IP address as it says here, and it's going to give you all information that it can gather about the target that you've selected. So I'm going to enter my website, which is hsploit.com, and there we are. It has got the results. hsploit.com, and as you can see, it is registered to my name, and if you go down, it is sorted. The information is sorted really well. So it has the registrant country, you have your register status, the dates as to how old the website is depending on when it was created, updated and hosted. You then have the name servers, which is also awesome. We looked at in the previous video how to enumerate DNS information, but here it just gives you the exact servers in which it is being hosted with much more information. For example, the amount of domains that these servers are hosting. Furthermore, it will give you the technology contact, which is essentially contact details to the target. Followed by the IP address for the web server, which is also very important. And as you can see, if you look closely to the IP address section, it's going to give you more information about the other sites that could be hosted on the server. In this case, we have 5,230 other websites hosted on the server. When it comes down to IP location, it'll give you the IP location for the web server, the domain status depending on whether or not it's been registered and active, Whois history, the IP history, and a lot of information, right? So you can then go ahead and check the Whois record, and you can enter the captcha here, and hopefully that gives you the information. There we are, and it gives you all the information right here. So as you can see, with the Whois lookup, we're getting a lot of information about the target, and as I've said, you can use an IP address or a domain name, or a domain for that matter, in which case you choose depending on what target you're performing the scan on or you're gathering information for. Alright, so that is how to perform a Whois lookup for your target, and this will give you great insight as to who your target is, and from this way onwards you can focus on how to target the attack or how to protect yourself depending on which side of the spectrum that you're on. Alright, now let us look at how to enumerate subdomains. Alright, so the tool that we're going to be using now is a tool that is not pre-installed on Kali Linux, but it is a tool called Knock. Now I here have the link of the GitHub repository in which you can download it from and use it. Alright, so a NockPy is essentially a subdomain scanner that is used to enumerate subdomains on a target domain through a word list. Alright, so as you can see, it gives you information about what it does here. Now this will essentially enumerate any subdomains connected to your domain. Now again, with big companies or with most companies that are performing testing on their websites, they usually create subdomains in which you can say they're testing a specific product, or they have a member exclusive web page. For example, some sites have login registration, or also have premium memberships. A subdomain to a premium membership, if one is able to scan, they can actually get access through this, because with a tool like NockPy, it'll enumerate the subdomains connected to the domain, and those subdomains may not be secure, and they could be confidential. So this is a fantastic way of understanding what subdomains exist, and again, depending on whether or not you're a penetration tester or you're looking to protect the website. This is a fantastic tool to get information about what subdomains you have on your website and how they can be accessed. Alright, so as I've said, it does not come pre-installed on Kali Linux, so we're going to be doing this together. So what you want to do on GitHub is, hopefully you're running this on Kali Linux, I would hope so. What you want to do is go to the clone or download section on GitHub, and you want to click on it and just go to this copy to clipboard section and just copy it right there. Alright, so once you've hit that, we have copied the link. Now we need to clone the repository on our desktop or in any other directory you feel is comfortable for you. So open up the terminal. It's really very simple. We're going to be using Git, so I'm just going to zoom in so you can see what's going on here, and I'm going to change my directory to my desktop. Alright, so once I've changed my directory to my desktop, I'm going to hit git clone. Alright, so this is the command that we use to clone GitHub repositories to a specific directory. In this case, we are specifying the desktop as our directory. And then I'm just going to paste in the link that we copied. You can also right click and paste it. And once you've pasted it, just hit enter, and it's going to start downloading the files, or in layman's terms, it's going to be cloning the files to your desktop. And once it's done, if we just open it up, you can see we have a lot of files, and there's no need to get worried here. What we need to do is we need to head back to the GitHub repository. Now this is if you're a beginner. If you're a beginner, I would recommend that you go through the README file right here. So as you can see, it gives you the information on how you can initiate the scan. But more importantly, we need to look at the prerequisites that are required. Now the dependencies, as you can see here, it requires DNS Python. Alright, so it gives you the command here to install it. So let's do that. So you want to copy this command right here. And we want to go into a terminal and we want to paste it in here. And if you're not in root, it's going to prompt you for your root password. So enter that. I'm already in root. So I'm going to hit enter, and it's going to download the dependencies. And as you can see, it is already installed for me, and I don't need to do it again. So we've already cloned the repository. Now what we need to do is we need to install the setup.py file, which is a Python file. So we need to do this from the terminal. So I'm going to change the directory into the noc file, which is on the desktop, like so. And I'm going to list what's inside. And as you can see, we have the setup.py or .py, which is an extension for a Python file. So it is a Python file. Alright, to install this, we need to execute the Python file. But before that, we need to understand that the Python file, the setup.python file, is not executable. So we have to change the permissions. To do this, we use the chmod plus x. Alright, so we're changing permissions to executable, and we select the file. So setup.py. And once that's done, we list the files. You can see that it is turned to green, which means we can execute it. So to execute it, I'm just going to say Python setup.py, and once I hit enter, it's going to start the setup process. So give it a few seconds to start it. Or actually, if it gives you this error, don't worry about that. What we want to do is we want to change directory into the nocpy directory. So cd nocpy. All right. So I'm going to list what files are in here, and it's going to give you the nocpy.py file. That was actually since the setup is unnecessary. Again, we have to change the permissions for the nocpy.py file. So chmod plus x, and we select nocpy.py. And once that's done, if we list the files again, as you can see, it is able to be executed now. So we'd say Python and nocpy.py. And once we start that, we know that it's working because it's going to give us the usage arguments. Alright, so the usage arguments are simple. It's essentially telling you how to use it. And to use it, it's really very simple. If we go back here, the usage is really simple. We just select nocpy, and after that we specify the domain. So let's do that right now, and I'm going to be performing this on my website. Alright, so I'm going to specify Python, so nocpy.py, and I'm going to select the domain, so hsploit.com, and I'm going to hit enter, and it's going to start the scan. There we are. Alright, so it's going to check for all the information it can gather. It's going to start looking for any subdomains or performing the subdomain scan. Now this can take a while depending on the size of the website, and again, depending on the connection of your internet. So give it a while, and I'll get back to you guys when it's done. Alright, so the subdomain scan has finished, or the subdomain enumeration has finished, and we've got some results. Now, very interesting. We've got a lot of subdomains that are linked to my domain. And as you can see, these can be quite useful. We have the FTP subdomain. We have all the mail subdomains. So these give you a better idea of who your target is and how to structure an attack. So, gathering information is the most critical stage. And, using NocPy, gathering subdomain information and obviously enumerating the subdomains is a very good resource that you should have at your disposal. And these can help you in structuring your attacks or your attack vectors for that matter. Alright, so that's going to be it for this video. I'll be seeing you in the next video where we'll be looking at how to scan for open ports with Nmap. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video.